interrupt your morning. I could not just wait. I was in the kitchen looking a little mess. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because I was sitting there, I was standing doing stuff in the kitchen. And God just put a revelation in my heart about the talents, the parable of the talents. I had to go back and write down what verse. Matthew 25, 15 to 18, but you can actually start it at 14 way in the beginning and read the whole thing. Matter of fact, read the whole chapter. It won't hurt you. So when I was standing there, and God just, I don't know why God brought it to my, it just, when you get that revelation, you just start shouting by yourself. You start running around in the kitchen. You start praising God and just lifting your hands like, my goodness, like God, you just lit. So here's a revelation I got. Listen. It probably makes sense to a lot of people that are more spiritual, but it's gonna make sense a lot to people that may not be that close and deep in God, because sometimes the understanding of the Bible is not as easy if you aren't fully in Him, because a lot of times it just causes confusion. But let me get to the point. So here, the Bible of the talents, God revealed it to me that it is based on your bloodline, generational bloodline, curses and things like that, of that nature, right? Because what you have to understand is, when He gave the 5 bags of of talent to the one man, and He gave 2 bags to another, and He gave one to the other according to their abilities. Hear it well. According to their abilities, He gave them what was specific to them. Now, this is the reason why sometimes other people struggle more than others, because what's happening is there's a deeper root in your bloodline that people have committed some sort of something, and then what happens is a lot of times nobody has stood up to break the bloodline. Now, if you come from a prayerful bloodline, you can initially, it's easier to sometimes break off of some of those things and come back to God, right? But if nobody in your bloodline has ever broken the generational curses, it's gonna be harder for you. You're gonna work a whole lot harder to get to where you need to get financially, physically, regarding your health, mentally, just everything is gonna take a lot longer, because what happens is you are in that line of the people that received the one talent. Now, a lot of times that's where the discouragement comes in, because when you read that passage of Matthew 25, 15 to 18, it is telling you immediately the one that received 5 went straight ahead and put it to work, because it was much easier, right? And received 5 more. The one even that received 2 also went in and put it at work and received 2 more. But the one that got the 1, there was a disappointment in his spirit. There was an offense in his spirit, because what happens is, when we're going day-to-day life, you see other people advancing, you see other people making it through life, you see the people that that you went to school with, that probably even weren't doing so well in school, but now are actually passing you and elevated and all of these things, and then you are still remaining in that same spot, and you're not able to move. You get discouraged, and then you just wonder, but what does it even serve to keep trying? I'm gonna just give up, right? And you're sitting in your house, you're getting all this disconnect bill, you're getting all this eviction notice, you're getting, you're looking at your wallet, you only got $5 to stretch for the rest of the week. That one talent they gave you, that one bag of talent they gave you, right? And then it's making it so much harder, so you fall into disappointment. You're just like, forget it, I'm gonna find a easier way to make it. And then so you get into illegal things, illegal activities, or you start doing things that is not good for your body to try to make it work so you can put food on the table for your kids. But what you have to understand is, even though you got one talent, even though you don't have that much, God is waiting for you to put your trust in Him, so He can empower you and give you knowledge to make it through life, because you can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. He's waiting for you, because he said he gave it to them according to their abilities. So your ability needs to be a little bit more refined. You need to do a little bit more work. You need to do a little bit more fasting. You need to do a little more praying. You need to do a little bit more repenting. Not just for you, but for your bloodline. Not for you, but for the generation, your new generation of the children that he gave you, and the children that he's going to give you, and the grandsons and the granddaughters to come, so that generational pattern of curses does not follow them. Because sometimes when you see that type of situation in families, you see that nobody ever made it past high school. Nobody ever made it past 8th grade. Nobody ever made it past a certain type of, a certain level, educational level. Or nobody ever made it to, a job that is able to, give them financial freedom. So they end up working and working and working and working. And they're tired. God is telling you today that even though you received that one talent, do not go and bury it. Do not go and bury it. You have the capability to also double it up. And because without faith in God, it's going to be a lot harder. Without having faith in him that he can do it, it's going to be a lot harder to move on. So he wants you to trust him. Put your trust in him. You received that one talent. Do not go and bury it. He has greater for you. He wants you to be whole. His thoughts for you are thoughts of good and not evil. So don't get discouraged because you're seeing everybody else moving around and then elevating, and you're still wondering, like, when is my turn? When is my turn? Your turn is coming, but do you have faith that it's going to come? Do you have the faith to keep going? Do you have faith? God wants you to know that there are many things buried in the bloodline, in your bloodline. If you would fall underneath the category of those people that received that one talent, there are people in your bloodline that have messed it up for you. And now you have to be the restorer of that faulty foundation. You have to be the restorer to break that lineage, that curse over your bloodline. I don't know if it makes sense. I hope it makes sense to somebody. I just had to run out the kitchen to do this because, listen, some stuff, it just can't wait. You just gotta hop on and listen. Like I said, I use my phone. I don't have any, fancy equipment or mic. I'm probably gonna get a mic because sometimes the sound is a little off. But I hope this message blessed somebody. And stay encouraged. Trust in God. He loves you just as much as the ones, that he received the 5 and 2 talents. He still loves you. The Bible also says that, the first will be last and the last will be first. So, don't ever feel like, you are too far behind to ever catch up, because we serve a God that restores. We serve a God that is able to propel you to your destiny within minutes, within hours, within months, within, listen, there have been testimonies of people, once they finally got in line to what God wanted them to do about their family and about the bloodline, that God started moving them forward at a rate, like just almost overnight, right? And at a rate that is so high that, nobody even could believe that there could even be possible. God can do it for you. God can do it for you. Just trust in him. Just trust in him. because at the end of the day, he still sent destiny helpers along the way. That even in that moment, in that hour where you felt like you had nothing to eat that day, and suddenly somebody came by and dropped you off some groceries, like somebody came by and prayed for you, and then you got that job. Somebody came and prayed for you, and then, you know, and listen, helped you move into a better place, and you didn't even have to pay the rent for a while. Like favor, just if you trust in God, there will be favors that will be lined up along the way. I'm here, I have testimonies of times where I didn't think that. Listen, I'm not going to get into it because it's going to be too much. We're going to be here till tomorrow. Listen, but I have started my testimony. So if you haven't watched my journey testimony seed of perversion, I'm going to be making series part 1 and 2. Part 2 will be uploading tomorrow. So if you haven't, you know, come on by, support, you know, share, like, subscribe, you know, just spread the word. You know, I just want to, you know, let you guys know that God is an amazing God, and he loves you. He loves you. He loves you. All right, y'all. God bless.